Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am back in England, only temporarily though, because Saturday morning we're off to Dublin for the final game of pre-season, missing the game at Old Trafford. But I'm going to try and watch it. We are watching it. We're taking a football team over, so we've got a game. If you're in Ireland and you're either going for the game or you live there and you're there on Saturday, come and watch Paddock FC. We're playing against Tech United at Rockford Park in Dublin. It's €5 entry if you want to come down and show a little bit of support. And then we're going to watch the game together at Rockford Park. Then we're going to play. Then we're getting out on a smash. And then we'll be in Dublin for the final pre-season game on the Sunday at the Aviva. So nearly finished with pre-season. It feels like because the tour section is over, that it's over. But it ain't over. It's far from over. And I've had 8 hours sleep since Monday night. And I feel it. I feel every single inch of it. And I am not very well. But it is what it is. I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning. Jet lag is a mofo. So, anyways, let's get into it. What we're talking about today on the old transfer talk. So, first up is Amrabat. And it's been really interesting window. There hasn't been a ton of like United are signing fucking Messi and Neymar and all them lot. There hasn't really been any wild kind of rumours this year. I think we sounded out Kane. Didn't fancy it. I think and I still think that there might be something with that. There's all sorts of other little things going in the mixer, but the targets that we've gone for, they've kind of been identified and then dealt with. Tine says, your views on Mason Greenwood, Steve? They haven't changed since the video that I did entirely talking about Mason Greenwood. So, there you go. Sofyan Amrabat then. Apparently United are not far from the 30 million requested by Fiorentina for Amrabat. The next few days should see more positive moves to be made. Love that. 30 million, absolute bargain. And properly bout it. Amrabat makes so much sense. And I think the performances of Kobe Mainoo have shown us why. I think he'll be more reliable than Mainoo. I think Mainoo's got a lot of potential, but I think he'll be more reliable getting someone with this level of experience. But also, he offers something that we don't really have in the side, and that is like being someone who's a genuine 8, like a genuine box-to-box player, and I think that's a massive win for us. So I think he's adding depth. We saw the drop-off in midfield last season was something that was quite drastic and quite problematic for us. As soon as we lost somebody in midfield, we were shocking. We really was. Eriksen looked knackered by the end of the season. Casemiro looked knackered at different points of the season. And I think having extras in there isn't a problem. And Ant there says, does that push Mainoo out on loan? I don't think it does. I think you might see Donny and Scott or Fred or maybe even all three of those sold. And I don't think you really see a drop-off in quality. I think he would play because I think there's going to be so much game time available. I think he plays. Andre says, I think the takeover talk is done. The club's waiting for the transfer business to be announced so we don't have to overpay for the remaining targets. I hope that that's the case. I have got a video coming out later on with my thoughts on the latest about the transfer update. So have a look at that when that one drops a little bit later on. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, get your notifications on, and I'll drop that one as soon as. Miguel Delaney says, United are considering trying to trump Liverpool for Romeo Lavia. I don't think we are. I just think that's absolute fucking rhubarb, in all honesty. So I'm not buying that. And that's not because Miguel Delaney's written it, although some people might think that. I just don't think that's the case. Florian Plettenberg has said that Leon Goretzka is on MUFC's list. The last 10 days have shown that he won't be a starter under Tuchel at Bayern Munich. Don't buy that one. I think that one's just a load of old rhubarb as well. I think we're getting Amrabat. I think that's it. Happy days. Donny van de Beek. Simon Jones is saying Donny van de Beek has been deemed doomed. Surplus, it's the same, innit? I can't speak. Surplus to requirements, and we're willing to let him go for 25 million. I think that is a fair price. Where that would be, I do not know. Iamu says, what's the latest on Rasmus? The latest is, I think we're just awaiting for the official announcement now. I believe it's all done. Medical was all completed yesterday. It's a case of waiting for the photos to be announced in the United States. I would imagine that's probably going to happen today, actually. Harry Maguire, according to West Ham Transfer Insider, which I have zero idea on the validity of West Ham Transfer Insider, but it says David Moyes is said to wish to try one more time with Maguire, despite the player's reluctance to join West Ham. I think the fact that we've signed Jonny Evans on a one-year deal just makes me think, Harry, come on, son. Because, listen, I love Jonny Evans, but he did not impress on the tour, did he? I think he's a great character to have around, a real bit of experience, but Jesus Christ, he did not impress on the tour at all. I think Harry needs to go. I think Harry needs to go and go and play football somewhere. The thing is, there's been players criticised at Old Trafford, and I've criticised them. And I'll continue to criticise players based on what I see on the football pitch. Luke Shaw was criticised. He went away, worked hard, improved himself, came back, won his spot back, and correctly got the plaudits he deserved for doing so. Aaron Wan-Bissaka had very glaringly obvious weaknesses in his game. Got 1v1 training, went and smashed it out of the park. Harry Maguire, although we've seen him have some pre-season training ahead of pre-season, I don't get that impression Mr. Nothing to Prove. And Mr. I'm too big to go to the likes of West Ham and stuff. I mean, if Chelsea are coming in for you, I think they've signed the centre-half they were going to get now. I don't think that's going to happen. Spurs, yeah, maybe I could see him going Spurs, but yeah, you know what? I don't think so. Liam says, what do I think about the centre-back position? Personally, I'd rather leave it a year now. Get one world-class centre-back in rather than spend 20 mil on average. Yeah. I tend to agree with that. It's identifying who that's going to be and when you can bring them in. I'd love Kim Min-jae, and I think that's the one that didn't happen. Christopher Anthony says we need to address our weakness in selling fringe first-team players. Yeah, we're horrendous at it. And the thing is, they go on and have pretty good careers elsewhere, so I'm not feeling that one. So people are mentioning in the comments about the Hojlund thing. So here's the script with Hojlund. United's press officer Andrew Ward has confirmed to Extra Blade that the club are not planning to introduce Hojlund until the weekend. This will probably be done during the friendly match against Lens on Saturday. There's a little bit of ambiguity in that word in there. That could mean that he features against Lens. That could mean that he features against Bilbao in Dublin. And the fact that they say this will probably be done during the friendly match against Lens doesn't guarantee that that's one, does it? What's my take on Giancarlo Ramos going to PSG? Yeah, I saw that last night, actually, and I think that's an interesting move. I think he'll score a shitload of goals because he's a guy that scores goals. But yeah, that's the one. I think that's the one. Asim says delay in a visa. It could be a delay in visa. I think that's probably quite likely, actually. And yeah, I imagine Rasmus probably, given the choice, I think they would probably prefer to announce him at Old Trafford. I think that makes the most sense. Obviously, we've seen them do that in recent years with new signings. I think that will probably be how it goes down. But it's one of those, yeah. Mark says, isn't it refreshing big players are wanting to come to us again without us chasing? I mean, what do you mean by big players? Because I wouldn't have said we've signed any big players this summer. I would have said we've signed the right players. We spent big on Hojlund, but I think we've signed the right stuff rather than the big stuff. Do you know what I mean? Sukma says, I'm going to that game, hope to see him. Gordon says, so I think Anthony will have a strong season this year or be a flop. I would hope he's settled in a little bit more. Brian says, looking promising that he'll feature in Dublin. Hopefully we'll get a decent team over for it. Yeah, I mean, as soon as this video finishes, I'm recording my preview for both Lens and Athletic Bilbao, although I might do a Bilbao tomorrow, depends on time. And I have no idea how it's going to go down. No idea how it's going to go down whatsoever. It might be a blended team. It might be like half the first team, half the reserves. I have no idea. No idea how it's going to go down. So I'm just going to take a guess and hope I'm close. Rob Kelly says, is it Tech United that you are playing or TE? Is it Do I say it Tech or do I say TEK? I don't know. But is it that who you're playing on Saturday? Yes, 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, Rockford Park in Dublin. If you're in the area, come and get in the mix. CTC says Prime Maguire or John Terry. Probably John Terry. Jeffrey says, how will we do in the Champions League this season? I would like to see us. I think the minimum expectation is quarterfinals, and I'd be pretty happy if we got to the semis. I don't think we're in any state to win it, but you never know. Exit Light says, how am I enjoying being home and out of the heat? I did not like Las Vegas, which I think I've mentioned once or twice on different videos. I didn't like Las Vegas. But because I didn't like Las Vegas, I didn't spend that much time in the heat. I had a bit of a walk around the shops with Alex and his missus on, I don't know what day it was, Monday maybe. Was it Monday? I think it was Monday. And we did walk outside for a little bit then, and it was red hot and raining at the same time. I haven't really spent that much time outside. The match day, walking to the stadium was intense, but as soon as you get into the stadium, it's like super crispy aircon. Yeah. Simon says, when do I think the Greenwood decision will be announced? I think it has to happen before the end of the transfer window, because that potentially gives Greenwood an opportunity to go elsewhere if that's the decision. And obviously, if it's not the decision, he's going to be kept around, then they have to register him. So I don't know. And I don't know what it's going to be. Am I jet lagged? Yeah, I've been up since 3 a.m. this morning. Just fully wide awake. Couldn't go back to sleep. So yeah, a little bit jet lagged, I imagine. What did I think of America? Big in it. I actually like America. I just don't like Vegas. I was really disappointed with the customer service across America. A place that relies on tips to the level that it does, I thought would be better with its customer service. Some of the customer service was absolutely horrifically bad. And the fact that they're asking for tips in supermarkets and things, if someone's gone out of the way or if someone's serving you, I don't have any qualms whatsoever paying tips, especially if it's good service. We had a wonderful lady serve us on Monday night, and we give her a fat tip because it felt like she actually went out of her way to be a good server. Some of the servers we've had have been fucking awful. But yeah, I generally like America. New York felt very familiar. I don't know if it's because I've seen so many films with those exact streets all over them, or I don't know if you all knew this, Northern Quarter, where our office is where they film a lot of New York films, which means that I technically, if people who make films think that this looks like New York, then obviously when I walk to my fucking car from the car park, I'm technically walking in what people in films think is what New York looks like. So it felt really fucking familiar, bizarrely. New Jersey seemed quite cool. Didn't really spend a hell of a lot of time there because of the game. I like San Diego, apart from the cloud. It was like pretty nice weather. LA was cool. But yeah, Vegas, fuck off. Just why does it exist? There's no need for it to exist. It's just... And I don't understand why people take their kids there either. Why would you take your kids out there to Vegas? It just seems mad. I don't know. Mood Swing Gaming says... I don't know what he's on about then. Notch says, bad customer service is usually a city thing. Well, someone said to us, oh, you need to go to the south if you want good hospitality. Be like, I'm not saying I want good hospitality. I want basic hospitality at the bare minimum. Some of the service that we got was so fucking rude. Like, rude. Oh, which place was it? Everything is blurred into one. Joe's just in here. I'm going to ask Joe in a minute because I remember turning to Joe at one point. There's a restaurant in Manchester called, I think it's called Karen's Diner or something like that, where all of the staff are purposely rude to you. That's like their gig, is that they abuse you. And I was like, have we fucking rolled up to Karen's Diner by accident here or what? That's what it felt like. They was fucking purposely abusive, like it was part of the gig. That's how shit the customer service was at times. Was it an Irish bar? Yeah, but that wasn't. No, that was a different one. Yeah, there was an Irish bar. I think that we spoke about this somewhere. I think we spoke about it on the podcast the other day, actually. Yeah, we went into an Irish bar, bought a drink, and sat down, and it was like, you can't sit here. You need to order your drinks off a server if you're going to sit here. What? The bar's 5 feet away. There's no seats left at the bar. I'm just going to sit here. No, you can't do that. Fucking Christ. Also, I wasn't keen on going to an Irish bar while we was in America, but it was what it was. Richard said, thoughts on Sancho for the new season? Are we going to see the best of him? Really hope he can succeed. So much ability. I totally agree. I hope he does, and I think he's got loads of ability, but whether he does or not is entirely down to him. And that. Fergal says, interesting to see what the Dublin hospitality is like. Hope it's not too bad to represent Ireland well for you. Me and Ben went to Dublin a few years ago and watched United on pre-season. I think it was when we played Sampdoria, and I think Andreas Pereira had one of his Pirlo moments. And we had a good time. We had a bit of a bev and went out to eat, and it was what you expect. I love the live music in the bars in Dublin. I like experiencing what a culture does. I don't like seeing like Irish bars in America are Irish ideas. American ideas of what Ireland's like, and it's not what Ireland's like. Ireland is totally different, but I also like when Americans do stuff that is their culture. Like we went to a Yankees game to experience like authentic American culture, and there's a couple of things I noticed. One, there is a uniform for the ladies that are going to Yankees games. I don't know if this is ubiquitous across every single baseball stadium, but there is a uniform for ladies, and the uniform, right, whether this is official or unofficial, I noticed it as an outsider, like, hang on a minute, the uniform is Converse trainers, like jean shorts, short ones as well, with a vest and an open Yankees jersey over it. I would say 70 to 80% of the women that was at the baseball were wearing that uniform. And I also think baseball, I think probably because it's such a fucking boring game, is an excuse to hang out. I think people go to baseball in really, really big groups. And I think there's a lot of hanging out. Like American stadiums are far more transient in terms of they're set up like this for you to be spending money at the concession stands constantly. Whereas football stadiums, obviously you can't booze in view of the stadium. They don't really have viewing areas where you can stand at the back with something that you're eating or with something that you're drinking and watch the game. So, yeah, but I like American culture like that. I like the tailgate. It's not something you could or do in England, but I liked experiencing what, to me, is authentic American culture, tailgating and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Martin says, a lot of the time, the server over here realises it's a table of Brits or Europeans and assume the tip will not be good, if any. Fucked it, innit? Also, I believe there's no minimum wage rules or few minimum wage rules in America, and the excuse for that with a lot of people is, it would make everything prohibitively expensive. In San Diego, we went to In-N-Out Burger, which is like $4 for a meal, by the way. And it's really nice. It might be the best burger I've ever had. They was advertising for burger flippers for $22 an hour starting wage. I just think it's clearly greedy businesses that are taking a piss out of servers and demanding that people pay for it rather than them paying for it. Can I explain what a tailgate is, please? Okay, so European cities, football stadiums have grown up in the cities. So Old Trafford is on a residential street. Old Main Road is on a residential street. Even the new Etihad is sort of on a residential street, which means there's not a lot of parking near stadiums. United's got a big car park. City's got a big car park. But that's circumstantial, really, and not designed like that. American stadiums, for the most part, are on massive industrial estates with enormous car parks that surround them. So because these enormous car parks that surround them, and because they're generally quite new built and not like, think about United, right? You've got all the pubs at the Crossroads, the Trafford, the Bishops, all that sort of stuff. There's established places you can go for a drink that exist there. They don't exist in America because you're basically planked a stadium in the middle of an industrial estate in the middle of a giant car park. So to have a drink at the game, you bring your own and you hang out with your friends in the car park. But they don't just do that. They get a fucking barbecue on, they bring games, they make a proper event out of it. And I like it. I think it's cool. And also everyone's got a big fucking truck. So they sit on the tailgate or they get deck chairs out and this, that, and other. And like I said, I think it's great. And it's adapting to the circumstances of watching a sport in a particular city. Like if you go to Barcelona Stadium's in the middle of the city. You can go to bars and restaurants and then walk over to the stadium because it's in the middle of the city. So it's a totally different vibe to go into an industrial estate in the middle of nowhere where you can, sit down and a tailgate and have a barbecue and all the rest of that sort of stuff. And obviously it's encouraged to do. What's the plan for the Sunday in Dublin, Steve? I'm going to be speaking to some supporters clubs within the next hour or so to find out if there's anything planned. Paddock FC to USA for a pre-season. Someone actually asked us if we'd be interested in doing that while we were in San Diego. And I was like, of fucking course we would. I mean, this is the first time we're doing this, our first international game on Saturday. Really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good laugh. Someone actually offered us a chance to go to Dubai. It was a company that offered us a chance to go to Dubai and it fell through, which I think would have been amazing to do a couple of weeks out there, play a few games. Adam says, tailgating's brilliant. We park and party at the car, barbecue music, drink friends. It's from colleges where they don't serve alcohol inside a stadium. There you go. I knew there was an extra element to it. Anve says, who should we sign as a centre-half if Maguire leaves? We might have already done it in Johnny Evans, in all honesty. Slim says, not as serious in the US, like a weekly get-together for everyone. Yeah, I see there's a big social element to it, I think, as well. There is definitely a big social element. Ant says, and it's generally not pissing down there either. I've seen tailgates in the snow, though, in the places where it snows, like fucking Nebraska and stuff. That's hardcore. Abibawa says, sport isn't the main thing in a tailgate then. I don't think sport's the main thing in American sports. Really don't. I think it's about eating and drinking. Genuinely. Miko says, I only got a baseball to hang with the guys. Yeah, I think that as well. Someone just said, what's the target for Paddock this season? Legitimately to win every fucking game. I don't want to draw a single fucking game this year. I want to win every single match. We're going playing this friendly on Saturday and I'm still kind of a bit fucking nervous because I'm thinking like, I'm not fucking losing this. I want to fucking win that and all. Tariqal says, realistically, Lavia and a centre mid rumours are dead if we get Amrabat. Yeah, I agree. I'd rather we got a cheap second striker like Taremi or loan deal than focus on a centre-back after Amrabat. Yes, I totally agree with all of that, to be honest. I think another striker would be good because if something happens to Hojlund or he doesn't quite hit the ground running, it could be problematic. John says, the tailgate sounds fun, but the expense of football, trains, trams, pubs experience, I don't know, it's kind of good to take over a city for a bit. That's part of the match day experience. That's what I'm saying. But what I like about it is it's authentically American because there isn't away support culture in America. Think about when fucking San Francisco are playing. I don't know if this works like this in the conferences. But fuck it, when San Francisco are playing LA, that's like that's far enough distance. I mean, that might be like Southampton to Manchester, so that's probably doable. But like, I don't know. Let's say it's like fucking Texas to San Francisco. You're not doing that. You're just not. That's a flight. So you're not doing that for a domestic game. The tailgating thing is because it's low, 99% home crowd. And quite a friendly sort of vibe, I think. I don't think away fan travel is a thing. Certainly not a thing. It's not even a thing in Spain. I think Germany and England, it's a big thing. And I'm not really sure how it is in France, but Spain, it's not big. Caston says, which position do I play for the Paddock team? I play the manager position. Glenn says, Yankees versus Red Sox has away support. There you go. That's pretty close though, aren't it? Boston to New York's not that far. Callum says, what's my guess on what Fergie would have done with Greenwood? Ooh. Oh, don't know, you know. I don't know. Santa Notch says, in some ways, the European equivalent of sport tailgates is fans meeting in town centres. Yeah, probably that. Mike Warwick says, I can sort you a few games in Southern Cali. There's some good competitive semi-pro leagues. Yeah, I think we're probably like D1 college level, probably. Maybe bottom level of semi-pro in the States. The problem is paying for it. That's what we need, is we need someone that's up for sponsoring it. And I think the lads will be fucking all over it. I mean, the lads are paying for themselves to go to Dublin. So, you know, if we could get someone that pays part of it, I'm pretty sure the lads would be fucking right out there. Richard says, you can already see the build for City and United comparing Haaland and Hojlund. This Hojlund build up by the press, Reddit pounds if it fails. You don't hear about other clubs' big signings. No, you really don't. You know, literally Chelsea signed a striker the other day. Have you seen comparisons to him and Hojlund? You know, what was Harry Kane doing at 20 years of age? Fuck all is what he was doing. You got to let the kid cook. You know, comparing him, like, Hojlund's a super freak. You know what I mean? Just, nah. Do I dye my beard? Does it fucking look like I dye my beard? If I do, I'm fucking missing bits, aren't I? Did I see United and Arsenal fans scrapping in the stadium? No, I saw Arsenal fans scrapping with Arsenal fans in the stadium, no. Andrew says the lads would be all over a free pre-season in LA. No, I don't believe you. Yeah, you know what I mean. Andy Long says, Fergie would have taught Greenwood how to be a gentleman from a younger age. Since Fergie left, there has been very little management of players' development as people, especially younger people. Yeah, maybe Eric Harrison as well. I think he had a big hand in that. Can't diminish what he did. Adrian says, if you ever have the time, please look at Farrell Costanta, Europe's youngest champion last season. Give a great example of sustainable footy. Okay, let's have a look at that. What do I think about Ten Hag's spending? I think we overpaid for Hojlund, and I know people are kicking off about that, but that's my thoughts. And I think we overpaid for Anthony, and I actually thought we overpaid for Casemiro, but I take that back now. But, you know, why is no one talking about the bargain that he got in Martinez? Or the bargain that he got in Christian Eriksen? Does that not balance it out? Those two had massively advanced. You know, for 100 million-ish, you got Martinez, Eriksen, and Casemiro. It's fucking great business. Coach Zach Elk says, had tryouts for the high school I coach at. Cutting kids from a program they dreamed about for years was emotionally exhausting. Love the content. Yeah, I imagine it was. Fucking hell. Andrew says we've overpaid for every single player, I think. I don't know about that. I don't think we've overpaid for Onana. I think that was a good price. Mount was a touch higher than I wanted, but not ridiculous. McTominay, Casemiro, Amrabat, Mainu, Eriksen, Mount, Bruno is the perfect midfield squad. I don't know if McTominay will be in it, you know. He might have gone. Brian says, honestly, think Hojlund will surprise a lot of people and get over 20 goals in all comps. He'll definitely get the game time to do so. Well, there's no one fucking up against him, innit? Morales says, why ESPN pundits got so much hate against United? Because it sells fucking papers and clicks, doesn't it? That's the top and bottom of it. Notch says we should be balancing what we spend for the profit from sales, if anything. We should, because we should be selling a shitload. But yeah, that is what it is, isn't it? Righty then. I'm going to crack on because I've got a shitload of videos ahead of being in Dublin this weekend to do. Salford6 says, does Janine like Yellowstone? Need a new series to watch. She's sort of watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes with me. I think she'd love it, but she's never really got into it. Am I still jet lagged? Yeah, I'm fucked. Anyway, I'm out of here. Make sure to subscribe. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, fan games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.